Today is January 30th, 2023. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, last week, thousands of young people traveled to Washington, D.C. for the annual March for Life. It's been going on since 1974. And among the throng of thousands were about a dozen students from a Catholic school, I'm assuming a high school, from Greenville, South Carolina. And after the march, after they marched down Constitution Avenue to the Supreme Court building, the group traveled a few blocks to the Smithsonian Institute's Air and Space Museum. Now, I've been to the museum a few times, and that's a great museum, but I've got second thoughts about this place. They went inside, and sure enough, museum staffers told the students that they had to remove their hats. And if they didn't, they would be told to leave the museum. Well, okay, first of all, it's taking place in January, so it's winter, and these kids are wearing hats. So that doesn't seem rather unremarkable to me that you're wearing a hat in the wintertime. But these hats were kind of special. They all had the same style hats. It was a blue hat with a message that said, Rosary, Pro-Life. 3 words, that's all it said. And the Smithsonian was offended, apparently, by the message. And here again, we have the censor squad, the cancel culture people trying to stifle religious or free speech. Those, I've seen a picture of the hat. They're really pretty cool. There's nothing threatening about those 3 words, Rosary, Pro-Life. There's nothing threatening. But, the Smithsonian says that the museum is a neutral zone where you're not supposed to express political opinions. So I guess I would ask the Smithsonian, if a person walked in with a Black Lives Matter hat, would they be told to leave? Or a Pride Day hat, would they be told to get out of the museum because those hats were espousing a certain political persuasion? My guess is a Black Lives Matter hat would not be cause to have someone kicked out of the Smithsonian Museum. But apparently this was true for these pro-life high school students. And it looks like the Jay Sekulows organization, the American Center for Law and Justice is looking into the case. And there may be some kind of a lawsuit, or there may be something going on. But it's interesting, the article I read that the Jay Sekulows group mentioned that in May of 2022, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously. Oh, no, when does that happen? A 9-0 unanimous ruling in a case called, let me get the case called, Shurtleff versus City of Boston. And they ruled here, let me give you a quote here. The government may not suppress or exclude the speech of private parties for the sole reason that the speech is religious. So that tells you right there that the Smithsonian is on thin ice when it comes to telling these high school kids they've got to shut up and get out of Dodge unless they submit to cancel culture. Okay. Next case. The Mark Houck trial. Talked about that last week. The Mark Houck trial will probably end today. Last Friday, they wrapped up testimony and closing arguments, and the case went to the jury on Friday. But by the end of the day, they had not made any kind of a decision. It's a deadlocked jury right now, apparently. So most people are expecting the jury to make their decision today. And that in itself surprises me, that the jury didn't come to a not guilty verdict within a half an hour. I mean, can you imagine? You shove somebody and you get 11 years in prison? Oh, that's unbelievable. That's outlandish. That's insane that the federal government would punish somebody with an 11-year prison term for shoving somebody who actually had been harassing this Mark Houck's 12-year-old son to some degree. And, they're claiming that it was a violation of the FACE Act, which it wasn't. He wasn't anywhere near the door of the Planned Parenthood abortion clinic. But here again, this trial is not a typical trial. It's a show trial. It's a political trial. It is meant to intimidate, stifle, silence, just threaten any pro-life group or organization or individual who wants to stand in front of an abortion clinic and sidewalk counsel women or picket or pray. It's just an attempt to intimidate and frighten pro-lifers into silence. So I guess what they're saying here is that we should give up. We should wave that white flag of surrender. We're going to give up. We're going to go home. We're not going to be in front of that clinic and try to help that mom make the right decision about her baby, not to kill that child in the womb. We're not going to be there praying and asking God's Holy Spirit to convict that mom into what she's planning on doing, and turning her life around, giving her a second chance to give that baby a chance for life. Well, we're not going to do those things. We're not going to pray. We're not going to sidewalk counsel. We're not going to help these women. We're just going to go home and surrender. Now, do you really think that's going to happen? Of course not. Groups like 40 Days for Life and others are not going to be intimidated by the pro-abortion Joe Biden administration, whose sole purpose right now is to intimidate and threaten and silence pro-lifers. Well, it's not going to work. Groups like 40 Days for Life are going to be out there here in Kalamazoo during the Lenten season, wrapping up just before Easter of 2023. They're going to be there as silent witnesses, praying, testifying for what God can do in people's lives to rescue moms and babies from the clutches of groups like Planned Parenthood, whose sole purpose is to make money and kill babies. And, they'll say they're there to help women, rescue women, save their lives. They're there to make money and kill babies because it is an abortion clinic. It is there to kill babies. That's what Planned Parenthood does. They are there to kill babies. So with that, I'll let you go, and I will see you next time. But remember, be praying for Mark Houck that the verdict goes his way and that he's not sent to prison for how many years? The judge already decided or felt that the federal government's case was pretty thin. So we'll see how it plays out. But keep watching the news for the Mark Houck trial later today or tomorrow, probably today. But with that, I'll let you go, and I'll see you next time.